Tuesday morning here in Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, and you're still listening to Sobi 101.9 FM Ilorin, the station that exudes excellence all time, all day, bringing information, education, plus analysis. Ensure that you don't change that dial, sit back and relax as we take you through the headlines and the stories and the trending issues and topics on all the media platforms in Nigeria and beyond. My name is Mariam Afolabi. I'll be your host this morning, and I have my colleagues with me, starting with Madam Ayobola Ayinla. You dressed for the weather this morning. Good morning, Ayobola.
Yeah, Miriam, I'm still trying to recover from that your attack that you made on me earlier. Oh, really? All right. Good morning to you. Good morning, Nigerians. Of course, we are here on an informative ride. Please do stay tuned with us.
All right, and we have our analyst also ready, Adebayo Abubakar. Good morning, Adebayo.
Yes, good morning, Mariam. Good morning, Ayobola. Good morning, Nigerians.
Good morning. You're welcome.
And to be a part of the program, as usual, can call us on 09124221019, 09124221019, or 08051899241. And we are live on Facebook at Sobi 101.9 FM. You can watch us live and also comment. So, let's dive straight to the headlines this morning. There was something that happened yesterday, and there has been development on it. Talking about this one that says that yesterday, South African envoy, visited Nigeria, but one of the main gist of it is that President Tinubu declined meeting with the South African envoy. They remain indebted to Nigeria. Let's unpack it one by one. Adebayo Abubakar. Let's start with President Tinubu's, the declining to meet with this envoy, and the controversy and reaction to it, because it's a clear sign that President Tinubu is condemning the way Nigerians are treated in South Africa. So let's start with my first question: is this action loud enough or it's unnecessary?
Well, I know why Nigerians are excited about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's move, and that is the irreducible minimum. Number one, you are sending a minister. Even in some countries, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu visits, they delegate junior ministers to receive him. So not to talk of a junior minister coming from another country. So to me, it's not a signal at all. Okay. Although it does carry some weight in inspiring confidence among Nigerians that after all, the Nigerian presidency has developed that kind of ball to show South Africans that we will not just come genuflecting, receiving your people the way we used to, all in the name of African brotherhood in the past. And that is a radical departure from the way and manners Nigeria have been treating South Africa, which they never appreciated by behaving like a spoiled brat in a candy shop. And the fact that he has them to meet this thing it's a signal, but it's not a strong one to my understanding, but it could be the beginning of something stronger to come. And the fact that he also went to meet with Ambassador Nikolaye at the end of the day, saying that they are massively indebted to Nigeria for shared comradeship in the past. We are not comrades. We and them are not comrades. You are comrade with somebody with whom you embark on a struggle side by side. No, Nigeria liberated you. Nigeria is your liberator, not you're not your comrade. What are they? Where have they fought for Nigeria? Instead, they gain their independence. They have been fighting against Nigeria, not for Nigeria. So he should go back to South Africa and tell those on the streets that they are indebted. He can't teach us that history. We are independent. The better is not to teach them, because we are quite aware of that history. Young as I am, I contributed 50 kobo towards that struggle. Then my feeding allowance was 1 naira per day. I was in junior secondary school then when Mandela was released. I gave out 50 kobo of my daily feeding allowance in school then. Free Mandela and the rest of them, including Simon Yoma of Namibia then. All of them, those campaigns came together and Nigeria was at the forefront. So he should go back, because the white men in their country know what they were doing when they removed history from their curriculum. That is why the current crop of people who are as old as I am do not even know, in South Africa, do not know the history of the country.
Of their struggle.
I was engaging with one on the social media. I said, look at this one. We must be high on something cheap, oblivious of their history. So you should go back and teach them, and let figures like Thabo Mbeki tell them that he attended University of Lagos or UNN on scholarship from Nigeria. He resided in Nigeria. Majority of them, Mandela, Winnie, his wife, they were moving around the globe with Nigerian passports. Nigeria gave them passports because South Africa will not give them passports. under the apartheid regime. So they were moving around to lobby support for their struggle. Nigeria did not only give them that passport, money. Nigeria committed over $60 billion. Read my lips, $60 billion into that struggle.
Into that cause.
Bring it and convert it to today's naira. You will know that we are talking of an amount that is up to 2 or 3 years annual budget of Nigeria. That was what we committed to liberating them. The tooth will help them sharpen. They are not using it to bite us. No, I think President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, commendable as what he did is, I think we can do more to send a very strong signal to them. Look at in Ghana here. The mining license of one of the largest mining companies, gold mining companies in Ghana, which is a South African entity, expired. He refused to renew the license.
All right, let's go for this commercial break. When we come back, we'll still talk more on that. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Guy, we don't need talk since. Think I go do my work, We'll continue this talk later.
Oh boy, you don't talk. How back? You know they tire. Nothing new. Make myself they follow ya like you. Talk until you tire. When you did on top the new MTN sachet bundles, dial *312*7# and press 2 to start to enjoy from 100 naira. Load down. Talk they go.
Is it okay to make fun of our Africa? Let's have a talk. Colgate makes your teeth so strong. So cover your mouth.
Not to do younger.
With your smell. Brush your teeth with Colgate. Zero cavity and fresh breath. If you use a Colgate paste. Not to do younger with your smell. Brush your teeth with Colgate. Colgate, #1 oral care brand in the world.
No firewood, no charcoal. Say hello to the new, no smoky party. No one has smoky flavor. That be like your taste buds. New no smoky party. Your love. New no smoky party. Your no smoky party.
Enjoy the new North Smoky Party Jollof Sizzling.
Give me no, give me smoky party. Your love. New no smoky party. Your love. Your love.
That went to Jack. What's big?
Newspaper headlines and editorials. First with the news.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome back to today's review of newspaper headlines and editorials, thoughts analysis with Mariam Afolabi, Adebayo Abubakar, and Ayebola Anulabi, and still the conversation of the South African envoy to Nigeria. And Adebayo, as we continue, I want to ask this question that this new development of the envoy visiting Nigeria and all the things that we have said so far, do you see it as a that is open the horizon, especially for Nigeria?
In their country is not a body. Julius Malema's address this morning on social media, and the question he was asking them: you have sent away thousands of Zimbabwe, but you still have not had a car. You have not had a job. What does that tell you? That those who are using you to mine gold and exporting raw gold, mining platinum and exporting raw platinum, why don't you tell them, if you tell them that every gold mine, let them establish a factory here and process it. If they process it, there will be more jobs. So that those are the people you should fight, but those are the people who have now set you up against your fellow Africans. People who come around and say, oh, this is South Africa, a lot of people have cars here, and there's no car wash. Let me set up a car wash. A business in South Africa will not ordinarily think of. Set it up, and you start now saying they are taking your jobs. Now they are left. You can't continue to run those businesses. Those who have valuables will cut it away. So the guy was talking senses into them, but it remains to be seen. You know, the power of propaganda. If you want to appreciate really the power of propaganda, you need to visit social media very often, even within Nigeria, and look at. Let me give you an example how propaganda works. If you see the propaganda being dished out from the Western countries, as it affects the Middle East conflict, that is where you will know that there are many educated illiterates in Nigeria. So it is the same thing in South Africa over there. So they made them believe that your enemy are your fellow black Africans, not white, who are not up to 10% of the population, but are holding over 70% of their land.
Would you say it's lack of exposure or education that's their problem?
You see, education is a very strong instrument to controlling people. The content of the educational system here has been packaged to condition them into thinking that way. Until you change the content of, like one of my university teachers, Professor Sam Agadino, said that the nature of education.
We don't dey talk since. Ah, make I go do my work, continue this talk.
Advert to your code 855.
Oh boy, you don't talk. How about you know the tire?
Na the new
No,
level be that,
55.
oh. This new MTN sachet
Okay,
bundle
so you
don
go
make life
Paridele.
easy for me.
Brotherly, involve me now. Make me say they follow ya like you. Talk until you tire. When you dey on top the new MTN sachet bundles, dial *312*7# and press 2 to start to
Show
enjoy
orí ibi tí the next
naira.
advert ti fẹ́
No
wọlé.
doubt.
Show kan síbẹ̀. Tí mò ń sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan.
My brother, follow who no road o. Nigeria don go digital.
Then ọlọ́run ti question tí mo bèrè lẹ́ǹkan pé ṣéèyàn rí i pé CVT pé fẹ́ wọlé ní 7:45.
Free to air decoder or download the free TV mobile app for your phone. Just point your dish to night concert and enjoy. So I tell you, digital. Now, National Broadcasting Commission bring on this message. No let them leave you for back. Switch to digital now. Free TV, better TV, no monthly wahala.
Baby, I go away. Shall I say not you away? 3 days is all it takes.
Charlatan Quality Anti-Malaria contains Artemisa and lumefantrine, available in cherry-flavored dispersible tablets with very convenient dosing for kids. Charlatan is also available in tablets for adults. Knock out malaria in 3 days with Charlatan from Shalina Healthcare. If symptoms persist after 3 days, consult your doctor. Charlatan is endorsed by the Nigerian Medical Association.
No firewood, no charcoal. Say hello to the new, no smoky party. No one has smoky flavor. That be like your taste buds. You know smoky party, your love, your love. You know smoky party, your love, smoky party, your love.
Enjoy the new North Smoky Party Jollof Seasoning.
Give me no, give me smoky party, your love. Smoky party, your love.
SCM. Stop losing money. The CNG movement is here. It's safe, it's verified, and it's smarter.
No cash for conversion, no problem. With Money Points MCGC and Credit Corp, you can convert now and pay small while you save big on fuel.
CNG.
Cleaner, safer, affordable, driving Nigeria forward.
Visit any PICNG accredited conversion centers today or visit www.pci.gov.ng.
ẹ̀yin tí bàbá bá mi náà ti gbogbo yín lẹ mọ̀ pé zuri ló ṣe kíni zuri ló lọ kọ́ṣọ́kọ́ yọ̀kọ̀tọ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ bí gbogbo yín ṣe mọ̀ wípé iná dídá ò rọrùn látòrí gígé àlùbọ́sà lílọ edé lẹ́yìn náà ìbànújẹ́ pé ṣé oúnjẹ náà yóò dára ṣé oúnjẹ náà yóò dùn ṣùgbọ́n látìgbà tí mo ti ń lo ohun ìsebẹ̀ zuri ni àkókò ibi ìdáná ti di àkókò ayẹyẹ fún mi pẹ̀lú díẹ̀ zuri oúnjẹ mi máa ń dùn òórùn rẹ̀ sì máa ń dùn gan ni zuri ló lọkọ sẹ́ẹ̀ ṣọkọ yọkọ̀tọ̀ ó ṣe kíni ó ṣọ́ọ̀kì zuri wà ní gbogbo ọjà àti ṣọ́ọ̀bù káàkiri nàìjíríà ní irú ṣíkì jọ̀lọ́ọ̀fù bíìfù àti classic zuri ló ṣe kíni zuri ló lọkọ ó ṣe ìṣàì.
Make your cooking fun.
This is back to school season. Super FM is giving you the biggest promo of the year. Buy 5 jingle advert slots and get 2 absolutely free. Buy 10 slots and get 4 more free. Just like that. Wait till it never finish. Buy 10 slots of jingle and enjoy an extra bonus on special eye. Back for school. Let your brand shine. So BFM deal is right on time. Buy more and get more. It's true. Let the whole city hear from you. Don't miss this wonderful opportunity today. Visit SubFM in Lorry today or call 080-60-34-2608. Again, 080-60-34-2608. SubFM back to school promo. It's a real deal.
Today's review of newspaper headlines and editorials. First, with the news.
You're welcome back from that commercial. I apologize for the interruption. Now let's continue our conversation before going for that break.
All right, so
We were talking about I think you were giving us analogy of being educated.
exactly. So education is an instrument of nation building, such that you have to build the mind. If you are building a nation, you have to build the mind of the nationals, and in the process, education is the brick with which you mold the mind of the people to condition. Like I was I quoted my former history teacher at the University of Ilorin, Professor Sam Agadino. He said that the kind of education we inherited at independence was limited in scope and content to the needs of the colonial masters. In scope and content, that is they call it the 3 R's: reading, writing, and arithmetic. Once you are able to read and write, to function as their housemaid, to function as their clerk at the ports, to take notes of the goods they are buying and are ready to export. So those are so they limited it. That is why you see some of our early scholars. I mean, those who were educated, who the first set of Nigerians to the early set of Nigerians to be exposed to education. You see some manners of combinations. Some people who have CRK and chemistry, IRK and agri. Those were the kind of the degree they were combining. They will tell you combine arms and the rest of them. So once you are able to acquire, those who went further then were those who are able to teach these 3 R's: reading, writing, and arithmetic. So the same thing in South Africa. They have limited the content of their education to understanding their problem. Sorry, not education, miseducation. There is education, there is diseducation, and there is miseducation. This miseducation is more dangerous than diseducation. They have miseducated them into belief that their problem is fellow black Africans who suffer the same fate. What happened in South Africa, the same thing happened in Zimbabwe. So much so that the whole country was named after the chief oppressor. Rhodes was the man's name. Rhodes, something I've forgotten. So they now name it Rhodesia. There was Northern Rhodesia and Southern Rhodesia. The Northern Rhodesia is Zambia now. It's today Zambia. While the Southern Rhodesia is, it was at independence that they changed the names to Zimbabwe and Zambia. So the content of the education. So he should go back home and tell his people that, look, particularly that lady called Jacinta, the one that is spearheading that Ludula, that we are heavily indebted to Nigeria, so much so that we cannot pay up in a lifetime. So maybe by the time they get to know the role Nigeria played in 1976, every country participating in the Olympic in Montreal in Canada were already settled in the Olympic village. Nigeria spearheaded the boycott. The entire African countries who went to the Olympics boycotted it, and other countries from other Latin America and even some Asian countries, they also boycotted in protest against South Africa. Nigeria nationalized the British Petroleum, BP. I wouldn't know whether you met the relics of BP. Now it was later came to National Oil. So Nigeria nationalized this thing, and it was with a great diplomatic prize. British government owned it, but Nigeria nationalized it as a punishment, as a reaction for the support the British government was giving the apartheid government. So these were the prices Nigeria have paid in the past, but South Africans of today have been diseducated. They have been denied the opportunity of understanding their history properly. You will recall when Mandela died and they wanted to, during the Mandela's funeral, Nigeria attended. It was under the President Goodluck Jonathan. They did not specifically mention Nigeria for appreciation. Throughout that ceremony, they lumped everything together.
We should have seen the signs.
And Obasanjo was so immersed in that struggle then that he even advocated the use of black magic. That if all this money, everything is not, that is ready to lead and use black magic to fight the Oyibo people. They still talk about it in South Africa today. That Obasanjo promised black magic as an antidote to apartheid. And if you see, he also made reference to what happened in Kenya when the liberation strugglers like Jomo Kenyatta and Raila Odinga. I'm sorry, Odinga, the father of Raila Odinga. They mobilized themselves on ethnic platform so much so that they now call them Mau Mau. Mau, I don't know what it translates to in Kikuyu language. So it means like a kind of let's fight them, something like that. So the Igbo people then misinterpreted that Mau Mau to be black invocation of a black split. So those were how far Nigeria went then. Nigerian government went in pressuring the apartheid government out of power. Now we help them sharpen that tooth. They are using it to bite us.
Okay, if this time we should continue on this conversation. We will have to talk about something else. Let's have another headline this morning.
All right, so my headline here says that Kwara groups demands 170 of high rise in insurgency. Now, Adebayo, this call was made both to the federal government and the Kwara state. Now, I want to ask you that what are the things that the government could do differently, in order to rescue this 176 that has stayed a long time in captivity?
honestly speaking, I hate to remember that about 176 Nigerians from Woro and Nuku are still in captivity. And I hate to also remember that it happens to Nigerians who belong to the same state where I reside. It is unfortunate. I also hate to remember that Governor Abdulrahman Abdulrazak had not been able to mobilize the kind of strategy, the media blitzkrieg that was mounted in respect of the Orire 40-something. It is so unfortunate. I know there is a limit to what Governor Abdulrazak can do, but he holds such a strategic office in Nigeria as the chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum, able to put pressure, but it's like, what I'm seeing now is that everything has been relegated. Politics is at the front burner at the moment.
All right, let's go for this commercial break. When we come back, we'll continue from there. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Today's review of newspaper headlines and editorials. First with the news.
Advert to your 55 little only 45.
This advert.
Yeah, welcome on a short break.
Today's review of newspaper headlines and editorials was analysis the Tuesday edition with Mariam Afolabi, Adebayo Abubakar, and Ayobola Anila Ali. Okay, Adebayo, let's continue our conversation.
So, as I was saying, it seems that politics had overtaken everything, both at the level of Kwara State and at the level of at the national level. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu should remember that the people of Nuku and Woro are as Nigerian as the people of Orire, without any prejudice to the rescue of Orire people. I believe the template they used, assuming without admitting that they just discovered that template, they should replicate it in rescuing these innocent people whose only offense is that they are law-abiding. The only offense they commit is that they are Nigerian and they are law-abiding. It is a scar on the conscience of both the federal and the state government. And they should, as a matter of urgency, do everything within the capacity of the state to bring these people back home to their families, reunite them, rehabilitate them and reunite them with their family. It is taking too long. It is becoming a scar, like another Chibok issue. It is another Chibok, and it's unfortunate that it is happening in Kwara State. And I think the media in Kwara State too can do more, because I'm not seeing media fireworks to draw global attention to the plight of those 96 people. It is unfortunate. It is them today. It could be me tomorrow. It could be you. It could be any one of us.
Yes,
nobody is safer than the other in Nigeria. As we speak. Just about 2 days ago, report had it that they went after a high court judge in Kebbi State. They said they even ran after him and stopped him, asked him, "Are you not Justice Faruku?" The moment they confirmed he is the one, they picked him up. So they no longer go to villages now because they know villagers have been stressed beyond, they've squeezed them dry. So they now go after those who still get water for body to put it in the local parlance.
Yeah. You see, Adebayo.
So we need to. I know the momentum. The Nigerian state is winning. I'm very sure of that, and the momentum is gathering now. And I wish we could sustain that momentum. So please, the Kwara State governors should try and key into this momentum by, if it is lobbying, whatever it takes, to draw federal attention to these 176 people from Kayama local government. It is I don't know how to describe it, honestly speaking, because I can imagine not being able to speak with my, look at the Orire people. They spent 50-something days. These people, it's over 6 months that they've been there.
Since February.
February
It's about 6 months now that they've been there. Nobody knows what is happening to them. But you saw how the entire stakeholders in Oyo State mobilized, and to the embarrassment of the federal government, so much so that the federal government had no option than to also deploy all our military assets into pressuring and rescuing those people. The same template should, be applied in Kwara State.
You see, Adebayo, you did say that, Nigeria, it seems to be having this winning momentum kind of, but there are people who are of this, opinion that, this momentum is not being evidenced as they are seeing it here in Kwara, thinking that there seems to be some sort of relaxation from the state government.
No, the thing is this. What I mean, the momentum is that the Nigerian security forces have been piling some sort of pressure on them that you hardly hear before. Hardly can a day or two go without you hearing that some people, they've struck somewhere, but now the economic of that business have been destroyed. beyond recovery. And the security, the intelligence community have been able to study the sociology of, banditry, kidnapping, and terrorism, and they are dismantling.
Oh, my IBDC meter you don't finish now. See bad timing. To go kill buy token now go stress me well. Are you recharge? How that one take work?
Simple. Download the iRecharge app from App Store or Play Store and pay your IBEDC bill or buy prepaid token instant. You can also dial *6606*1 on your phone.
Sharp like that.
Even better, your IBEDC meter now gets permanent bank account number. Just do one bank transfer to the account number and receive your token or pay your bill within seconds. Or visit www.irecharge.ng. Make you start today.
iRecharge, convenience, accessibility.
Then even I want that to need code. That has scheduled us.
Anti-malaria
Like our time schedule one.
in cherry-flavored dispersible tablets with very convenient dosing for kids. Charlatan is also available in tablets for adults.
At least for now, yes.
With Charlatan from Shalina Healthcare. If symptoms persist after 3 days, consult your doctor. Charlatan is endorsed by the Nigerian Medical Association.
Guy, we don't need talk since so. Take a go do my work, we go continue this talk later.
Oh boy, you don't talk. How back? You know the tire.
Now the new level be that too. This new MTN sachet bundle don't make life easy for me.
Brotherly, involve me now. Make me say they follow ya like you. Talk until you tire. When you dey on top the new MTN sachet bundles, dial *312*7# and press 2 to start to enjoy from 100 naira. Low down, talk they go.
How many minutes back?
Kárílé tó dáa fi ṣẹ́gun gbogbo káralẹ̀ ìfọ̀kànbalẹ̀ kọ́lé sí tàbí dòkúwò lórí dúkìá ilé àtilé. Ọ̀pá Homes and Properties Limited wà fún ọ. Ilé iṣẹ́ tó yarantí tó sì fini lọ́kàn balẹ̀ ní gbogbo ìgbà tó bá ṣe tán. Tó fẹ́ ra ilé àbílẹ̀ sí gbogbo ibi sẹ́mẹ́ǹtì ti gbé jọlẹ̀ nílọrin àti yíká orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà.
Olamide Olamiskan.
Ìwà ẹ̀sìn ọ̀sẹ̀ ibi tẹ̀ sílẹ̀ sí pé kọ́ọ̀lù.
Èyí ń ṣiṣẹ́ iṣẹ́ delivery. Wọ́n ló lọ lé weekend láti Friday àná wọ́n ní kò tí ì dé. Police dispatch rider. Hello. I can't. This number called me now. Okay. Mo wà nínú Sobi FM báyìí. Mo máa wà ń bẹ̀ in the next 1 hour. Mi ò wá sí ìgboro, ibẹ̀ ni mò ń gbé. Àmọ́ tí mo wá jókòó sí ìgboro gbogbo tó wù yín lẹ́ ń ṣe mi ò gbé nobody called me. Hello? Mi ò ní mi ò wá sí ìgboro, ibẹ̀ ni mò ń gbé. Orí mi ti gbálẹ̀. Mo san 7,500 naira owó delivery òun bí pé gbọ́ àwọn ọmọ bọ̀ wá sí ìgboro. I know I was actually in town. Mo sọ fún wọn pé mo wà ń gboro. Wọ́n lọ lu wọn láti Friday ṣé kò tí ì dé. Gbogbo àná kò dé.
Iṣẹ́ ò kára.
Wọ́n kọ́kọ́ parọ́ àwọn nọ́mbà mi wà available, nọ́mbà wo ni wà available, nọ́mbà wo tó ń chat nínú kò wà available. Data tó ń power internet tí mo fi ń dá ẹ lóhùn yìí orí fúláì yẹn ló wà oníkò wà available. Ó ní òkè kí n má bínú máa di Monday gbà yẹn. Èmi ti ẹ̀rọ pé èèyàn gidi ni wọ́n máa jí láàárọ̀ Monday onítọ̀. Mo ń bọ̀ wá sí gbòòrò ẹ jẹ́ kí n mọ̀ sódà kẹ́lẹ́ save epo kí n sọ fún yín ibi tí mo wà ń gbòòrò kẹ́lẹ́ wá pàdé mi. Ẹ máa ju òpin yẹn. lọ sí Èkó mi ní gbogbo wa wà address wọn ìgbẹ́ ilé wa ló wà Ajé street ní Yaba ní Sabo Yaba. Nǹkan ìṣe wípé mo tọ́ bá fọkọ̀ ìgbà wọn ní ìgbà akọ́ni sùúrù ìjọ tó bá lọ sí Èkó ní akọ́ wo Sabo Yaba akọ́ ọ̀pọ̀lọpàá kan 20 kẹ́.
Ẹ fọlọ́pàá ṣe sí.
Ẹsẹ̀ náà iwájú ọ́fíìsì wọn náà ni wọ́n ṣàjẹ́ lára wọn. Kò sí ọlọ́pàá tó máa mú yàn wọ station tí wàá jáde lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́. Ilé sínú owó tó ń gbà lọ́rùn wa nánú ẹ̀.
Ara ti yí lọ́ngì.
Gẹ́gẹ́ bí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀, ẹ mọ̀ pé mo gbọ́dọ̀ mọ gbogbo bí nǹkan ṣe ń lọ lórí ayélujára. Tí olówó mi bá ti jí ẹgbọ́n tó máa ń wí.
Yéè, mo gbé o, dátà tí mo ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ṣe máa ti tọ̀.
Ṣé mi ò sọ fún ẹ?
Jára ẹ, má jẹ́ kí fóònù ẹ máa fi dátà rẹ ṣe ogle. Ṣe àkíyèsí auto updates. Pa àwọn apps tí o kò bá nílò nígbàkúùgbà.
Ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ lásán lèmi o. Kòkòrò tí ń jẹ dátà ní ìjẹkújẹ fún ẹni tí ò bá ṣe àmójútó dátà rẹ̀.
Jẹ ìgbádùn dátà rẹ ní pẹ̀lẹ́mù limit 100 MTN.
Àwọn olóde ni mo fẹ́ sọ yìí.
Kivo Krima, when you need to have a break time. Kivo Krima, Kivo Krima, Kivo Krima, Kivo Krima.
Good time moments. It's Kivo Krima.
Kivo Krima.
No firewood, no charcoal. Say hello to the new, no smoky party. The one that's smoky flavor, that be like your taste buds. You no smoky party, your love. You no smoky party, your love. Smoky party, your love.
Enjoy the new Nora Smoky Party Jollof seasoning.
Give me no, give me smoky party, your love. You no smoky party, your love.
Today's review of newspaper headlines and editorials. First, with the news.
You're welcome back to today's review of newspaper headlines and editorials. And to be a part of the program, you can call us on 09124221019, 09124221019, or 00518999241. Well, we have this headline on insecurity. Let's have it quickly as well. Expecting calls.
Well, it's not really much about the insecurity. It's about court ordering army to reinstate 70 soldiers pardoned by former President Buhari and also to pay them salaries from July 2022. Now, Adebayo, considering the speed of the time that this pardon had already taken place, do you think this should have been a natural occurrence, not waiting a court order, especially considering the fact that it was a presidential order in the first place?
All right, let me quickly pick this call before you go. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from, please. Okay.
You see, you know how the military, disciplinary code operates. It operates in a very rigid manner, and these people have been court-martialed.
Yeah.
But then the president, the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, in person of late General Muhammadu Buhari, retired, had pardoned them, and pardon in accord as argued by the legal counsel, meaning say that it has negated all the consequences of that court martial, meaning that it has erased all the legal consequences, and as a result, the convicts should have been, those who are pardoned, the 70 of them should have been reinstated. But the court, the National Industrial Court of Nigeria, was liberal enough not to mandate the Nigerian Army to pay them from 2014 to 2022 when they were not working. But since when they were in detention, but since they were available for work in 2022 to date, that they should be paid. And I think the Nigerian Army need to understand one thing. They have built a reputation over the years that they are civilized, they are advanced, they are enlightened, to have subjected themselves to the authority of democratic institutions, particularly the judiciary. So they should not do anything to tarnish that reputation. That reputation as a Nigerian, I'm proud of it. That Nigeria is one of the most advanced military in the world that have, shunned intervention in politics. So they should at least try to maintain that and obey this court order. And I know it's going to be very difficult to muster the fund. But the Attorney General of the Federation is aware of it, and I believe he will press the necessary button to make sure that funds to pay these people is available. I know the offenses they were accused of is a grievous one in the military. That's they call it indiscipline, insubordination, and mutiny. But they've been pardoned by the Commander-in-Chief. So they should please maintain that reputation of putting themselves under democratic institutions and obey the court order.
Yes, but Adebayo, there's something actually, because I did see some people making some comments like that, for those periods from the 2022 till now, of course, they were not in active service. So, people were like, will they still be paid for not actually doing the work, without them being reinstated ordinarily?
It is not their fault since they were released, they were pardoned. It is not their fault that they were not working. But while in detention, the court said they were not going to mandate the employer to pay them. But since they were available for work, but they refused. Because they said the military authorities should have known that immediately after the pardon by the president under Section 175 of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that they should know that they ought to have reinstated them. But their own legal counsel also argued that it doesn't erase the history of the fact of history that they've committed those offenses. Yes, it will be on record that they committed and they were pardoned. So that pardon supersedes whatever history has to offer.
All right, let's talk about this headline before we go for this break. It says ban applies only to preaching in commercial vehicles, not streets. I don't know if it's going on the same. The reactions are, of course, have been followed this ban on preaching in buses and all that, and how people are thinking about probably affecting their own religious rights. So, what's your reaction?
It is unfortunate how hypocritical we can sound about religion in Nigeria. Like I said, people who hardly go to mosque, they are the one who carries Islam wahala for head. People who hardly go to church, they are the one who carry Christianity wahala for head.
All right, let's go for this break. We'll come back. We'll continue from there.
Where you need to clear your eyes, keep on prima. Where you need to have the break time, keep on prima. Happy Papa Garita, keep on prima, keep on prima, keep on prima.
Good time moments with Kivo Krima.
Kivo Prima.
Forget to make fun of our food stuff. That's what we call.
Police there was.
Colgate makes your teeth so strong. Stop cover your mouth. Not to do yanga with your smile. Brush your teeth with Colgate. Zero cavity and red bread. If you use a Colgate paste. Not to do yanga with your smile. Brush your teeth with Colgate. Colgate, number one oral care brand in the world.
Gary Kivo 3-in-1. Omi nìkan ló kù kó fi kún.
Gary mix. No firewood, no charcoal. Say hello to the new, no smoky party. They want a smoky flavor. That be like your taste buds. You know smoky party, your love. You know smoky party, your love. Smoky party, your love.
Enjoy the new North Smoky Party Jollof Seasoning.
Give me no. Give me smoky party, your love. You know smoky party, your love. Your love, your love. That your day and have a good time. Keep on prima, even when you need to clear your eyes. Keep on prima, when you need to have the break time. Keep on prima, not be Papa Garita. Keep on prima, keep on prima, keep on prima, keep on prima,
Good time moments with Kivo Krima.
keep on prima.
Yes, this is back to school season. Super FM is giving you the biggest promo of the year. Buy 5 GB advance slots and get 2 absolutely free. Buy 10 slots and get 4 more free. Just like that. Wait till in never finish. Buy 10 slots of jingle and enjoy an extra bonus of special eye. Back to school. Let your brand shine. Solomon BFM deal is right on time. Buy more and get more. It's true. Let the whole city hear from you. Don't miss this wonderful opportunity today. Visit Sobe FM in Lorry today or call 080-60-34-2608. Again, 080-60-34-2608. Sobe FM Back to School promo. It's a real deal.
Today's review of newspaper headlines and editorials was analysis. This is the last lap of the show, and I see that we are having some calls blinking. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from, please. Hello. Okay, I think we have to wrap up on our conversation.
So, as I was saying, both Muslims and Christians in Nigeria, the hypocrites among the two religious adherents are the ones stoking ember of discord. It was so disappointing yesterday. I saw a leading Pentecostal figure in the country saying that the banning of preaching inside buses is an attempt to Islamize Nigeria. And I love a Christian friend who is based in Germany replied in the comment section and asked, so in those European countries where nobody preaches inside bus, are they Islamic countries? So those are the things. When a law is made in good faith to ensure order in our country, social order that we cherish so much in other countries, so much that we go there and come back and start brandishing it here. When every attempt at establishing it in our country, they start misinterpreting it, standing truth on its head, standing logic on its head, and trying to fan ember of discord among us. That is very unfortunate. I think National Assembly, they've done well in this, and they should stamp their feet. They should just wait for the presidential assent and get the law going. It is appalling.
All right. I think we can take one more headline before we go. I have this one that says Accountant General Adeni Adeyemi hijacked our letter to State House that could have exposed PFIPC. Adefai, what's your reaction to this?
That President Adeyemi must be a very omnipresent person.
Oh, really?
He's everywhere. He's hijacking, as his impersonality is hijacking. You see, instead of people to just own up to their own irresponsibility, ineptitude, everything is being blamed on the guy as if the guy is super.
Even hijacking a chain of correspondence.
Imagine, you said he brought letter from this and he's also hijacking it. Is he that powerful? Is he that omniscient? Is he that omnipresent? I think we need to, imbibe this culture of owning up to responsibilities and,
I think that's the major problem.
That is, like they say, we should not, because they say that flimsy excuse is better than none, and start dishing out these excuses that is not strong enough to even convince a 2-year-old baby. Come on.
Embarrassing.
It is embarrassing.
Hello, good morning. Ayebola, do we have one more headline?
Yes, I do. This is Oshiomhole backs shooting armed criminals on site. And this he says, as regards him thinking that probably the IGP is trying to, be apologetic about saying that in the first place. What do you have to say about shooting armed criminals?
The discretion it lies at it's at the discretion of the commanding officer. Anybody who is commanding, whoever true. And I think the Minister for Defense last time had said it, that you do not need order again once you see that this person is, even when I see self-defense is first law of this thing. That's why will I put it, self-preservation is first law of nature. If you are under threat, so of course there is no bandit who will be carrying gun or terrorist and seeing a soldier and will not feel threatened and want to attack first. So the best thing is for the soldier to also attack first. So I think it doesn't need to be gazetted again.
All right, thank you very much. This is all going to be joined cutting on today's review of newspaper headlines and editorials, plus analysis for this particular edition. Tomorrow, join us with our colleague for fresh new edition and other headlines and analysis. And please do not forget to join us on Orolus Day at ABC National Publicity Secretary, coming on a special program today between 11 a.m. and 12 noon. Okay, it's 11 a.m. and 12 noon.
Yes.
We have another program, Hepatitis Day on Orolus. But this one is a special program with the ABC National Publicity Secretary on by 11 a.m. and 12 noon. Thank you so much for always being a part of Subi 101.9 FM. Ayebola, Ayla Ali, and Mariam Afolabi and Adiwayo Abubakar. We are wishing you a successful day ahead.